Hi everyone, my name's Tag. I wanted to put together and share a video about what's been working for me on TeachMe. I'm relatively new to coaching. I'm coaching pickleball, and I didn't come from a pro background, didn't have a clientele list, literally started from zero. But over the past few months, I've spent a ton of time learning what actually helps attract students and keep them coming back, which is the most important thing. This video isn't meant to be theory or best guesses. It's the system that I'm actually using right now. My goal is to share this in case it's useful for other coaches and for the Teach Me team as a whole, just to see kind of where I'm at and how I'm making Teach Me work for my business. So let's get into kind of the foundation. It all starts with your profile, okay? It's the most important thing. So what I do, and I do this very, very often, is I go to Teach Me like I'm a student, and I put in my address, pickleball, and see where I show up. So what it's telling me here is best 12 coaches for pickleball lessons near Deerfield Beach. So I'm near the top right here. The students are going to decide really quickly, like within the first few seconds, if they're going to click on your profile or not. This happens super, super quick, right? And if I just scroll through in my area, and I can load some more coaches here, it'll take a second. There's quite a bit of competition down here in the pickleball mecca. So, why and how are they choosing me over some of these others? Well, here's my strategy. So, and again, I'm not telling you to do this. I'm just telling you this is what's worked for me. If I'm a customer and I'm gonna look here, I don't have a ton of information. What I'm seeing is I'm seeing coaches, I'm seeing a score, I'm seeing pricing, I'm seeing how many lessons that they've given. And I'm also seeing kind of from top to bottom. So in my mind, the people at the top are the better coaches, right? Maybe closer in my area, so on and so forth. So what I've tried to do is just small improvements. So my profile is right here near the top. And the strategy that I've chosen for me is I'm the least expensive coach in my area. I'm brand new. I'm trying to fill my calendar with students. Now, again, you decide whatever price you want. I'm just telling you what I'm doing. I'm the least expensive coach. So, profile picture. It's a clear headshot. I'm trying to market to who I believe is coming to Teach Me, specifically for pickleball in my case, okay? If these are pro athletes, they're probably not going to Teach Me to get tips and tricks on how to win their next tournament. They're probably beginner or advanced beginner players, never had a coach before, looking for a coach. So, here's a good one, I think, that's just a headshot. It's perfectly clear. It's got a pickleball court in the background. He's got 224 verified lessons. So I kind of modeled my picture, after that. I just kind of stole the idea or looked at the idea. Hey, he's really successful. Now here's somebody on a pickleball court playing. He's got a little bit more, 257 lessons, which is great. But I think a headshot is certainly the way to go. So, let's look at my profile specifically. So, first of all, we'll talk about the headshot. So I'm going to talk a ton about ChatGPT. So this picture I actually took in my bathroom with my phone. Teach Me messaged me. I had a profile picture that had sunglasses on, and they're like, "Hey, can you do one without sunglasses? And it's dark outside." I'm like, "How am I going to get on a pickleball court? It's dark." So AI is an extremely powerful tool that I use all the time. So what I did was I took this picture And then I asked ChatGPT, to put a pickleball court in the background, which they did. And then I asked ChatGPT to clean up the image to this, which is still me. Took out a few wrinkles, brightened up my face a little bit, cleaned up my beard. Super sharp, super crisp. You don't need a professional photographer. You don't need anything. AI can do all this for you for basically free. I pay for ChatGPT because I use it all the time, but you don't have to if you want to get some editing done. Okay, so profile picture is, super, super important. So the other thing is, okay, again, you have 10 seconds to get somebody to decide if they're going to, look for more info. Action is where people stop on the internet. What I decided to do was, put some video on here of me playing beginner/beginner, intermediate, advanced beginner players from the first person. So I'm wearing Ray-Ban Metas. I put some very, very simple, things in. This says 2.5 gameplay. I'm working on, drips, drops, and rolls and scoring points. This editing is done with Clipchamp, which is a software that's free. Super easy to use. There's a million YouTube videos. I encourage you to check it out. Make some videos. Motion is what gets people to stop. If you know anything about TikTok, you know anything about Instagram, motion, motion, motion. There's nothing wrong with you standing there, explaining who you are. That has a time and a place, and that's great. I think this is much more beneficial. It's much more action. So what does the person see? They see the price. They can click on packages. The description is going to be super important. I wrote my description from the first person. I think that's the right way to do it. I have a hard time organizing my thoughts, but basically what I did is I used ChatGPT to help me write this. I basically wanted to say, who I am, how I coach, and what students can expect from a lesson. So that's basically what I wrote here. It's not super wordy. Also that I have a pickleball paddle company, so on and so forth. So this landing page is, super, super important that you spend the time, make this as absolutely perfect as you can do. Look at other coaches that are successful on the platform and try to mirror or, do similar things, right? It's working for them, so you don't need to, try to rewrite the rules, so to speak. I talked a little bit about the intro video. I think that's, a really good thing that grabs attention. So this is basically, you're going to have this. So, in thinking about this, my philosophy, TeachMe and myself are partners. They're spending a ton of money to bring people to their platform to get them to this stage, okay? Everything after here, right, is on me. So the profile, my ranking in the profile, how high up the list I am, and we'll get into how all that works here in a second. Those are all things that I can control. So that's basically it. The next part of this is for you and your customers that you're going to bring into the platform. That's the Coach Shop. Now, let me be clear. This may not work for all of you. This is how I'm choosing to do this. What I believe is that, again, TeachMe and I are partnering in this. So I'm going to use their platform exclusively. Every single one of my students is going to be a student through the TeachMe platform, through my Coach Shop. The reason that I'm going to do that, number one, is the calendar. Because they can't book or double book me. And if they do, it's not going to hurt my ranking because tech support will be able to fix it or what have you. But this makes everything super crystal clear and easy for me. They handle all my payments. They don't take any fees. It's really a win-win. So let's get into my Coach's Shop. So basically, the way I laid this out was You have a link from a QR code that you can give to people to bring them here, which is still in the TeachMe platform. But again, you're bringing these customers in, right? So I've got a little bit of everything in here. There is teen lessons. There's gameplay lessons. There's packages. There is youth lessons. A pickleball machine rental that I offer. All these different options that I think somebody would potentially be interested in. In my services. So this is also, you can create as many of these as you want. I didn't create a ton of them because I can always create something. The customers are going to tell me what they want versus me saying, hey, this is just all I offer. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. So Coach Shop, super important. You got to try to look at it though from the student's perspective. What needs to happen? There needs to be super clear pricing, okay? Simple options, packages that encourage, consistency, one-off lessons. They got to have a little bit of everything in there. When students understand, what to book and why, they're much more likely to follow through, okay? So let's get into the TeachMe score and ranking. Now, some of this is my opinion. I don't know the exact math, but there are some things that I do know. You can go, and so I don't mess this up, let me pull it on my phone. So if I open up the Coach app, okay, which we all have, right? So up here in the top right corner is your score. You want to click on that. I look at this multiple times a day. It's going to give you a score out of 100, okay? And it tells you here how TeachMe is grading you. Now, you might be the best coach in the world, and great. On TeachMe's platform, this is the criteria that they're using to bring you up higher on the list. So in my case, I'm ranked number 2 of 110 coaches in my area. What are the criteria? And you guys look at this for yourself. Retention. Okay, this is the highest impact. And it says highest impact right there. I'm number 1 out of 110 coaches. My customers average 7.7 lessons per customer. Profile quality, how often profile visitors turn into customers. Now, I have a question for this, for the TeachMe staff, is I click on my profile as a customer all the time. So I don't know if it logs my IP address, and I don't know if me clicking on my profile multiple times is dinging me on this or not, but I'm not sure. Here I'm number 5 out of 110. Responsiveness, average time to new customers, schedule requests, and subscriptions. There's not enough data on mine, but look, this is just answering and replying to students, right? So you can't not reply for 2 days. It's going to bring your score down. You got to reply to them right away. I'm looking at this all the time. Reliability. Okay, how often you reschedule lessons. Again, this is why I'm doing everything on the TeachMe platform, is if I have another calendar, and there's a thing here where I know where you can sync calendars, but again, if I have students who I don't book into a calendar or so on and so forth, it's too much for me to remember. They've given me through the Coach's Shop a setup where everything syncs, and it's super easy for me to keep everybody straight and everybody clear, never going to be double booked. The next is your star rating. I have 5 stars. I'm number 2 out of 110. So, how do you get 5 stars? In my opinion, you have to create value. You have to give customers and students more than they're expecting every single time. You have to come prepared and, ready to meet or exceed their expectations, and you're going to get a great score. Now, look, I'm sure there's people out there that, say, oh, well, he this, that, and the other thing, and he might give you a 4-star. There's all kinds of things. If you feel as though you've been scored for whatever reason unfair, obviously you can reach out to TeachMe, talk to them, and, maybe you have a case for, look, everything can be figured out if there's some kind of weird thing. But look, these stars is your feedback, right? If you don't get a 5-star every single time, now look, maybe the guy forgets and he doesn't give you any stars. Okay, fine, he didn't rank you. But if he gave you a 3 out of 5, that's on you. Okay, that's not the customer. Something happened, and from my opinion, it's completely inside of my control to make sure that they are getting the best experience. And if you've participated in the Champions Club that Nora's put together the last couple months, which I've been, what TeachMe's trying to do is they are trying to pair their customers who they're spending money to bring to their platform with the best coaches. The only way they grade that best coach is by what they're telling you. They've set up the rules. Play by those rules and get yourself as high up on the rank as possible, and you'll get more customers from TeachMe. But you cannot just sit back and expect TeachMe to just feed you customers, right? Like in my area, there's 108, okay? So they're gonna spread the love among coaches, which is totally fine. So the rest is on me. That's what we talked about, in the coaches shop. So let's get into talking about driving traffic to your coaches shop. So we talked about, look, you have to build the foundation first. You have to have a great profile. You have to have a great coaches shop, the best you can possibly do. Now what you have to do is you have to drive traffic to that coach's shop store, okay? Here's how I do it. And I don't see this as replacing TeachMe. I see it as feeding TeachMe, okay? I'm bringing them into the platform. I'm getting comfortable with them with the platform. I'm upfront and honest about how it all works. They're taking all the payments. They're doing the payouts. It's really, really nice. So, as I said, you have a QR code and you have a link, okay? What do I've got here? And I talked about scheduling, tracking. Before I get into the real driving traffic, I want to go back to ChatGPT. So I know we're not graphic artists, but you can do some things that are super inexpensive. You can create graphics on ChatGPT for free. So let me pull that back up. So I asked ChatGPT to make me a pickleball court, like in South Florida. So I had to make this. So there's a website called Canva, okay? And I had these printed, which has a QR code, which, says, and this may be backwards because I have this on selfie mode on my camera, but it says learn pickleball, get better faster. I have these in my bag, and I talk to people as I'm playing. Hey, interested in coaching? I'm a coach. Here, scan the QR code. I have lessons there if they're interested. And then I have my company on the backside. You go to Canva. It's a super simple thing. You can create this a 5x7. You can click a button, sends it to FedEx, your local FedEx, and in an hour you have these. I think 500 of these was like $100, so it's not expensive at all. But now let's get into the real way you drive traffic. So I have, let me change my screen again. Okay. So I've figured out that what my demographic is, okay? The people that are coming to me for lessons are middle-aged men and women. They are beginners, advanced beginner, intermediate players. They may have never played before, or they may have played a little, and they're looking for coaching. Those people are on Facebook. You want to market to, young 18-year-olds, maybe Facebook's not the right place. So I created a couple of really simple Facebook ads, and let me show you one of them. So, and this has been running for about a week. So basically what I did here was, and I wonder here, you can see a little preview here of what it looks like. It's basically that same flyer that I had. Private pickleball lessons ranked, at the time I was ranked number 1 on TeachMe out of 108 coaches, so on and so forth. So what I did in Facebook was I set a 3-mile radius around the court that I teach at. And I'm only marketing to people 3 miles away. I'm spending $5 a day, and I set this up to get messages from people that are interested in this, okay? So after this is all set up, and again, use ChatGPT, can walk you through how to do this. I've actually run 2 ads because I wanted to beta test them. We can look at both of them real quick, but same, everything's basically the same. The wording's different, the picture's a little different, but let me give you the results. So this is over the last 9 days. I've spent $44.01. My cost per message, which means this is somebody that saw my ad, clicked on it, is cost me $6 to get what I would call a lead, okay? This ad got 1,782 views, 717 viewers, and again, it gives me the demographics. So look, yeah, I am 35 to 64. That's really, what I'm marketing to. Again, 3 miles around, age 18 to 65, so on and so forth. So these ads are going to generate messages. So let me go to messages here for a second. Computer will cooperate. So let me show you. So, okay. So these are all ones that have run the ad. Let me count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So I've gotten 16 messages on Facebook interested in lessons. So what happens when somebody messages me? It basically says click here, they click, and they get, I'll pick a random one. So basically it says this right here. It says, hi, thanks for reaching out about pickleball coaching. Are you more of a beginner, intermediate right now? So this is the part that everybody gets wrong. You don't know what the customer wants. You haven't had a conversation with them. Don't sell them. Do not sell them on your coaching. You got to talk to them first. This is the most important thing. And look, if you don't know what to say, again, use ChatGPT. You can screenshot it, put it into ChatGPT, says, hey, write me a nice response that's not sales pitchy or whatever to, whatever you want to do. But anyway, so this person gets this automated response. She responds beginner. Okay, now we have a dialogue, right? Here's the response. Hi, Maria. Thanks so much for reaching out. That's perfect. Beginners are exactly who I work with. We'll take time step by step, starting with the basic rules, scoring, serving, positioning, so you can feel comfortable and actually enjoy playing right away. Most people start with just one lesson, see how they like it, and then we go from there based on your goals. If you like, I can send you the booking link or answer any questions you might have. Again, I can send her a link if she's interested, or I can answer her questions. She said, yes, please. I sent her the booking link to my coach shop. Then I follow up, hey, let me know if you have any questions. Looking forward to working with you, and now we're still talking about the lessons, right? Thank you. Where do you teach? And this is an engaging conversation, right? I'm basically doing the same thing that TeachMe's doing with the profile that they've created for you. The only difference is, instead of TeachMe talking to the customers, which they'll do, you can click on TeachMe and say, hey, well, get a a coach assistant to help you decide who the right coach is. I'm the right coach. I hope I am. And if I'm not, and maybe it's an advanced player, and maybe they tell me I can't help them, I don't want to lie to them. I want to be very, very honest and upfront. Hey, I'll recommend Christian, the guy that coaches me. He's a pro level player, and he can provide a lot more value than I can. But this is the strategy that will get you more bookings. Don't try to sell yourself. Create the value, talk to the people, understand their wants and needs, and let them know how you can satisfy that. Okay, so this is a huge, huge tool. Again, I've spent $50 and I'm talking to 15 people inside of a week. So I think this is a great avenue. Once I saw what was happening here, now here's the other thing that's super interesting. Of these 15 people, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 of them are women. So it's about, 2/3. So I thought to myself, I said, well, I'm obviously not a woman. Spoke to my wife. She plays pickleball. I coach her. I said, hey, I want to get more women involved. What can we do? So we came up with the next idea. Let me switch my screen again and go here. So this is a website called Meetup. This is where you can create events. They can be paid events, they can be free events, so on and so forth. So look, I'm targeting, again, beginner, advanced beginner, intermediate players. I know that people that are responding to me looking for lessons are women, excuse me. So I had my wife create this profile, and what this is we're putting together an open play, free of charge, in our community. We're doing our first one on Saturday. So I had ChatGPT make this cool, beginner pickleball, friendly, social fun. I made it super clear that this is a beginner event. This is for people that have never played, that are just getting started. This is not competitive play, okay? Because again, I'm trying to market this and get in the faces of the people that I feel are going to best benefit and become long-term clients of mine. So you can create a time and a place, so on and so forth. I limited this event to 8 people, okay? And it tells where it is, so on and so forth. I got 8 people almost immediately. And right now I have in this group, let me see if I can find where it is. View profile. So, right now it has, of this group, I have 54 members. So in less than a week, I've got 54 people that are interested in coming to this event, and I've got like 10 people on a wait list trying to get into it. Again, I limited it. Now I want to be very, very clear about what this is. This is not for me to go sell my coaching to. This is for me to put on a free event, to have fun and play pickleball. Of course, I'm going to be there, not really as a coach, but more as a facilitator, helping people with rules, grabbing balls, so on and so forth, giving maybe some tips and trips and so on. And look, if it comes up in a conversation, hey, if you ever think about coaching, again, that's where these come in. But I'm going after, look, this is perfectly free. This didn't cost me anything. I'm sorry, the subscription is maybe $20 a month. Okay, I have 54 people now that I can message. So I've spent $75, and I've got almost 75 leads. So $1 a lead, it's incredible. So, I mean, this is what's filling up my calendar, super, super fast. So basically, just to recap this whole thing, because I don't want this to be this super long, in-depth video, what I've tried to create here is a system, okay? When I step back and I look at it, it all forms a loop, okay? Traffic leads to lessons. Lessons lead to retention. Retention improves my score on TeachMe. The stronger my score is, the more visible I am. And the more visibility I get brings me more students. So it just is a loop, right? And it reinforces all of the things that I know is going to make success. Once I started thinking about it like that, everything got a lot more clear. So I wanted to share this in case it was helpful for other coaches as well as for the TeachMe team. I'm still learning every week, but having this simple system has made coaching much more consistent, less stressful. Thanks for taking the time to watch, and I'm happy to help whoever I can. And if you have any questions, you can feel free to reach out to me, and I'll help you any way I can. Again, thanks a lot for watching, and I hope you found this a little bit instructional. I hope it helps you, and good luck.